Hello, 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 hello. What's going on, y'all? So I wanted to try out, a later chat. Sometimes I do chat 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, but I wanted to try out the chat a little later. So what's going on, y'all? Y'all see my title? Y'all see my thumbnail out there? It's pretty much momentum. Do what you have to do to accomplish what you need to accomplish. We were talking about study time the other day. So we're gonna start talking about that. Okay, and pretty much focusing on what you want to do. So some of us are not sure, and nothing's wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with not being sure with what you want to do. Okay, but maybe you're starting a new chapter. Maybe you are starting a new job. Maybe you want to focus on a different target. That's up to you. But however you do it, you need to focus and you need to put your first foot forward and just do it. There are many things that we say, that we may not be able to do, that we don't even realize that we can actually do it. So whether it's, it doesn't have to be, billing and coding. It just, you just have to have that motivation to kind of keep on going. Okay. So, I talked to a couple of people the other day, and I know a lot of people who do streaming, and then I talked to a couple of people who are like older, and they were talking about streaming and things like that. Again, you can do what you want. I mean, you still have to set time for it. You still have to, make a play for it, and just kind of go for it. Okay. Normally I do Twitch on this, but Twitch is not going to be on this. I'm just kind of hanging out with you guys. Okay. And I don't care, if you are going through I'm not sure which way I want to go, you'll get there. You'll get there. Don't focus on, how long it's going to take you to do this or how long it's going to take you to do that. Just, put your foot forward and continue to do it because you are the one who's going to see the glory at the end. Okay. When you guys are studying for that coding exam, you have to understand the questions. When you guys are doing your reading, I want you to take your time doing the reading, okay? Because a lot of times when you are reading and you're not quite finished with the full uh, sentence, you might pick the wrong answer. So that's why a lot of practice is in order. The CPC, when you take your CPC and let's say they have, 4 or 5 categories, let's say 4 or 5 sections on there, and you get an 80. When you get your results back, you're going to see where your strong points were. You might see a 60 and card, you might see an 80 in medicine. And, wherever your weakest link is, pass or fail, you're still going to practice that. You're still going to pull that strength up. You're still going to pull that strength up. Whether you pass or fail, that section I want you to still work on. Okay. And that's why, I put that thumbnail out there because I wanted you to not only have something to read, I wanted you to, you know, pull out your pens, pull out your pencils, and put your mind to what you want to do. Sometimes, like I said, you're gonna have to back away from people. You're gonna have to back away from people, and put your mind on yourself because you getting distracted from Brenda, Mercedes, and Tanya. It's gonna mess you up. Gonna mess you up. So focus on what you're doing because I don't want you to jump in and take that test and we don't do too good. Okay. So that's why I want you guys to make sure your study is par. Get your index cards, okay, and put your mind to it. If you say, okay, this is what I want to do, trust me, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. Remember that other one I put out there, momentum? This one is momentum too. Keep having that thrive. Have that thrive. I'm telling you, it motivates you, especially when you have other people around you that are looking to do the same thing that you are looking to do, or are thriving for something. It's not going to take yesterday. It might take a couple of more days, but put your foot forward and just continue to do it. Don't get discouraged. I had a student who, she wasn't my student in the beginning. She worked at the hospital, CNA, and she continued to take the CPC, and she continued to fail again. Y'all hear my story? I told y'all this before. She came to me and I gave her a couple of pointers. This is what you're going to do. You're going to pass that test. She went back. She passed the test with a 70, and guess what? She never gave up. She never gave up. She would be like, "Oh man, I'm not gonna pass this test. I'm not. I'm not. It's just I'm not." But she never gave up, and she passed the test. Even if she passed the test with a 70, she's going to get the same pay that a girl or guy is going to get that got a 90. You see what I'm saying? The key is to pass. Some people have pet peeves with, I want to get an 80, I want to get a 90, I want to get so and so. But everybody does not have to be like that. That depends on your study skills. That depends. I mean, you're talking about studying from 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, just straight studying. Studying is merely nothing but reading. Reading. That's all it is. Reading. Reading and retaining. When you know you got something, you're going to go, oh, that's when you got it. So when you get that exam, you're going to fully understand the question. So that's one of the reasons why I tell you guys to make sure you check out the rationale in the back of your CPC. Okay. So, and don't forget, I told y'all to make sure you have your CPC. So, y'all's class was supposed to be 8 o'clock tonight. We're going to do it in the morning. Okay. Because it's going to be Saturday morning. Y'all going to be home. I'll try to make it, a long class. This is pretty much my just chatting. Okay. This is my just chatting because I want you guys to focus on what you want to do. Tell your friends, tell your people, come join in on my class. Okay, y'all help me get to 3,000 views. All right, subscribe to my channel and watch my videos. I'm going to see if I can put more, and hopefully in a couple of weeks, I'm going to give you more. I'll be able to get online more. I've got so much going on, but I'm able to fit you in and still give you more. I did bring one of my tests. Now I'm going to see how I can put it on here. If not, what I can do is I'm going to upload a link, and then you guys can go ahead and get it. Because I can turn anything into a link, and that's the way that I can give it to you. So I kind of figured out how to give you more. Okay, but listen, we've got to get to 3,000. We've got to get to 3,000 views. So once I get to that, I will be able to give you more because then I will be partnered with YouTube. And then what I want to do at that point, I think like I said, I'm able to turn um, documents into links. So the test that I have, if you want to test yourself, okay, you want to test yourself. I'm talking to YouTube. Sapphire, y'all already have this, but you can test yourself based on what you can do and what you can't do. Are you ready to take this test? Because there's no way I could give you tests on YouTube. I have almost 10,000 subscribers. I don't know, all of y'all are not watching, but those of you who are, it's still a lot. But I'm going to figure that out. So I actually did. We're going to upload a link. So I want you guys to definitely get on the classes when we have the classes. Okay. And again, the schedule is up to you. Y'all know I go strict by the classes. I go by curriculum, and you guys have a syllabus. YouTube, you also have a syllabus. Remember, it's in there. Look at one of my chats. So the main thing that I wanted to tell y'all definitely tonight is don't give up. If you're having trouble and you're kind of struggling with maybe getting the books or something like that, use the links. You guys can use the links. Okay, make sure you use the links. The uploaded books that I gave you. You also can go to sapphirecoding.com and you can get books from there as well. Okay, if you know somebody who may not, again, Not familiar with the billing and coding, go to Amazon and get that Q&A book. It'll tell you all about it. Okay. And you never know, coding could be like a family thing. Um, if you want to be that master at that coding, you've got to do it. You've got to execute the coding, period. Okay. Once you finish with the business of medicine and your CPC guide, which we've done, you can go on to the surgical sections and just make sure you do the coding that's at the back. Okay. If you're struggling, send me a DM, ask me a question. Um, Something's wrong with this. I don't think this is the right code. Um, I've got all my 2026 books. The only one that I don't have yet in the 2026 yet is my CPT, which should be coming next week. So why did I ordered a hard copy CPT instead of my one that's online? Because I want you to look at the same stuff that I'm looking at when I'm opening the CPT book. So I'll have the online CPT book, and then I have the hard copy. So my 2026 will be here next week. So even though yours class is tomorrow, you still can use the free books that I put on, in the description for you guys. I don't know if it's in this description because we're just chatting here. I'm not doing class today. Your class is tomorrow. At your classes tomorrow at 9 o'clock, guys. Okay. Uh, you got your CPT book? Oh, good. Oh man. Oh wow, that's amazing. You got your CPT book. That's wonderful. You can, if you haven't been into any of our other classes, I want you to archive some of the coding classes. When you go to the playlist, you will see the first class that's in there, and it's basically giving you a rundown of going through your book. And you don't even have to do that because I don't even want you rushing. Um, in your CPT book, you want to just start from the beginning, reading the guidelines. We've already done evaluation and management, we've done anesthesia, and we are at the surgical guidelines just before integumentary. So tomorrow, we're going to start with the surgery guidelines and integumentary. I'm just going to be reviewing that because now we are in the advanced classes. Now you guys have to have that book because we are going to be doing the exercises in your book. Absolutely, absolutely. And the refresher is awesome because what we're going to do once you see these things that we're doing, they're going to come right back to you. Because if you only need a refresher and you already had a CPC or you already know something about coding, this will come second nature to you. This will come second nature. Our class tomorrow morning is going to be early. So I'm going to do the class tomorrow morning between 9 and 10 o'clock because I'm trying to give you guys time. So if you need the step by step link is also there. I'm going to put that link up. The step by step book is what we work in. Have you seen the step by step book? Maybe you already have the link for the step by step. I have this books down in the description on my other chats. Let me just drop up here. And what I'm going to do is, even though, this is my just chatting chat, just kind of letting you guys know, where we're at. And, just keep your motivation up, definitely, because I don't want you guys to give up. I got a lot of tests back from you guys. Sapphire Academy, I got a lot of tests back from you. YouTube, I got a lot of questions from you. And, so we did make it possible to give you guys tests. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to upload a link so you can kind of get used to doing the coding on a long basis. But we are going to do the coding that's in the CPC guide. So you definitely need your CPT book. Here is the step-by-step book. And the reason I'm dropping this up here is because I wanted to make sure that you guys have something else to kind of read on. Now, in this book, it's just, it just gives you enough to, I don't know why this is not posting. Hold on, guys. It gives you enough so that you can practice. That's fine. I can, what I usually do in a lot of my chats is just kind of drop it on the side anyway. Let's see. And the step by step book is the book that most of us go by, most of us in the colleges, most teachers also use our books, and also the Hicks Picks book. Now, when you get ready to do anesthesia, uh, you're going to need the Hicks Picks because we went over the modifiers. This is the step by step book. This is all colleges' go to guide for teaching you how to do the coding. This is our coding Bible in the teacher world. So that link will take you to the step-by-step book. I'm also going to give you the step-by-step workbook because that's what we work by. And this book, you guys know how my class is. I teach you step by step. If we're missing something, if you have a question, always DM me. I will get back to you. This is the workbook. So this is the step-by-step workbook. Now, in these books, you have this about 35% in these books. So when you guys are getting your books, I don't like you guys to rush and get several books. I want you to just get one at a time because I've given you links to all of the books. Yeah, not necessary. 2025 is good. In your CPT, if you plan on taking your test this year, we take the 2026 and you can use the 2025. Okay, these step-by-step books do not have to be new. You can get from 2024, 2025. You do not need 2026. I only use 2026 because that's the teacher books. All of the teacher books they give us is 2026. Well, I get them year by year. So we've already got those in already. That's why they're 2026, but they're generally the same. I mean, they don't do nothing but change the cover. The only book that I'm precarious about to make sure that you get that's current is your coding book, your CPT when you get ready to start coding, when you get ready to do your tests. Good, good. And if you have books that are already 2026, you don't have to worry about any codes changing. Those of you who do have a 2025 or 2024, you guys are okay because when I do the class, I use 2026, and if there's some code changes in there, I will give it to you. But you guys also have the links to the ICD-10 and the Hicks Picks. In the morning, I'm going to load all the 2026 books in there. Okay, I'm going to load those links in there. So the links that you have now are 2025, and they're perfectly fine. There's nothing changed in there. If you guys are going to do the medical billing, the links are also there for the medical billing. But I want you to just, to keep your mind, on what you want to do, because there are times when I know some people get overwhelmed, with the coding sometimes. Don't get yourself overwhelmed. Just do a little bit at a time. When you start reading these codes, they're going to come second nature to you. You're going to know where to go. You can get the step by step is paperback, or you can get an ebook on the step by step. The link that I've sent you for the step by step, you can get ebook from Kindle on that, or you can order your paperback for the step by step. Yes, yes. And step by step comes in both. You can get ebook or you can get the paperback. The CPT, I would rather you get the paper for the CPC, the paperback CPC, because you are going to use that same book for your test, for your certification. Absolutely, absolutely. You just have to kind of keep your mind going. So, the boy, did you take a CPC before? Have you taken that exam already, or have you taken coding courses or in a school? And it's once you know already, it's I'm telling you, it's going to be so easy for you. The first thing that you're going to do is start off with your refresher. Start off with your refresher. If you want to go to the beginning, go to the playlist. Okay, and the playlist is going to start off with medical billing, and then you're going to see medical terminology. So those of you guys who are going to archive for refresher, You have to do the medical terminology because remember, um, you have to be able to decipher a lot of the medical terminology. So that's why I want you guys to make sure you get that refresher in the medical terminology. Okay. And, again, if you guys already have books already, you can still use them. You can use them. I know thrift.com has books on sale all the time. I mean, they had the 2025 a couple of days ago for $80. And I thought that was real good because Amazon still has it for 137. Yeah, 137. That's a lot. But you can always search around, eBay. Sometimes they have books, you can kind of negotiate the price on them. But if you're new and you're starting, I want you to make sure you take your time and you go step by step. Absolutely, absolutely, and that's the key. You guys can see the descriptive of this class. Focus, study, and set your goals, and you will be able to do it. And I don't, and that's why I don't want you guys to get discouraged because medical billing and coding is going nowhere. Okay, doctors are going nowhere. They may be closing the smaller, per se, hospitals only because of the funds. But remember, those doctors are going to go to other hospitals. Okay. The coders aren't going nowhere. The billers aren't going anywhere. It's all a cycle. You guys are all a part of finance. You're all a part of finance. The hospitals can't run without us because we are the ones who are getting the money. Other than them getting grants, other than them getting federal money or whatever they're getting, we have to make sure that the claims are going out right. So what you do is just kind of pace yourself. Do not rush yourself. If you're doing integumentary system, just stay on integumentary system until you get an 80 on that exam. So in your CPC, it's not a teaching class. I'm trying to stay away from the book. This is just a just chatting book. But tomorrow, I want when you guys are going through your book and your CPC, and you take your test, make sure you see the rationale as to why the answer is what it is. Once you get that understanding of why an answer is what it is, you will not get that answer wrong the next time. And make sure you're reading the full sentence. When we're doing a classroom, you guys know it's not much that I can put on YouTube, but I'm getting ready to revamp it where I can give you guys a little bit more because I can add links. What I can do is I can pull from Sapphire Academy and turn those into links to help you a little bit more. Um, because I know sometimes if you are new to coding, if you're new to medical billing, maybe you just started as a CNA and you've seen the billing and you want to turn over to the billing. You already have medical background. You already have medical background, so it will not be hard for you. Absolutely, absolutely. We are definitely glad you are here, and I know that you will be able to commit to it. And if you've got even some of the study guides, if you have the study guide, it is a plus. If you have the CPC guide, it is a plus. The AAPC is derived from the CPC guide. It's derived from that. If you guys take a look at the language of medicine book, the step by step book, and the CPC guide is all arranged in the same format, even the CPT. So, that's one of my tricks. When you guys are in the class with me, we always have all books out that we need. If you don't have a desk, make one. $10. Go to Home Depot, get a 5x7, and get two by fours. Have them cut it for you. Get the wood glue and make you a desk. Paint it pink, purple, orange, whatever you need to do. But that will be your study area. And then you are focused on what's around you. See, it's fun. It's much fun when you're working at home because you already have that stuff. And the only thing with us working at home is all of the coders are home, and most of them that work for physician offices are not. But Everything you need is already there. You're going to set your 2 hours, right? Because we do the theory when we do class, right? We do the theory, and when you go home, you're already home, but you guys do the practice, right? So in your syllabus, you have your 1 hour theory with me. Sometimes we do 2 hours, and then you have your 2 hours theory at home. Your 2 hours theory at home is when you are reviewing what we've already done in the classroom, and you should be doing your exercises, right? Your exercises in your step-by-step book, because your exercises in your step-by-step book is complicit with the reading in your word book. Okay, that's where we do most of our work. Your ICD-10 class we've already done, right? We've already done ICD-10. Make sure that you get the guidelines down. There's going to be a good 4 or 5 questions on your CPC, on the guidelines. Okay, good. You definitely need your step by step. The step by step book is like the go-to book. It is the go-to book. And the reason is because it will show you in detail, step by step. Your CPT book actually has detail in it, but the step by step book is the mandated book to teach by. Okay. And that's how you're going to learn how to do the coding. That's why you don't, I don't say, don't go to school for billing, don't go to school for coding. I say, I don't want you to get a student loan for something that you could either teach yourself, you need guidance, you just need the right information and the right tools. All of the books that you need for that are there. You guys remember in the description box, the ISBN is there and all of the links that you need. The ISBN for every single book that you need, I always put on there for you guys. You guys can also go to my website, go to the Black Phoenix bookstore, and you can get any book that you want in there. I have all the books in there as well. The one thing I want you to do is set your, I always say this, set your 2 hours for your study. The more you study, the more you retain. The more you study, the more you retain. I know some people like have a question of how could I remember all of this? You're not going to remember all of it. All of your answers are in the CPT book. All of your answers are in the ICD-10. All of your answers are in the HCPCS book. AAPC wants to know, has she or he mastered this book? Can he find this in the book? Can he find this in the ICD-10? If I give you I.C.3.4, can you find it in the guidelines? You see? Y'all go back over ICD-10 and y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I say I.2.3. That's the guidelines. That's taking you to a section in the guidelines. It's taking you to a body system. So when you guys are reviewing your chats and archiving, start from the ICD-10. Then you're going to move down to the coding. And it's especially if you just need the brush up. It's all repetitious. Exactly. And you guys hear me say that all the time. All the books that we have mostly have the same thing in them. There's nothing that should stop you from being the expert, because the AAPC, it is a mastery level of coding. They want to see if you have a mastery level of coding. Now, if I'm hiring, y'all already know. If she comes and she says, I'm in class to get my CPC, I'm going to hire her as long as she passes my HIM test. If she passes my health information exam, I'm going to hire her. I'm going to give her 90 days and I'm going to pay for her tests. So a lot of facilities do that. So that's why don't wait till we completely finish. If you're catching on to the coding and you feel like, okay, I can do this, okay, and you've passed all of the exams that you and I are taking, go put in for the coding. Go put in for the coding. If I give you an exam, if you pass my test of 150 and you go for that coding test and you say, well, my teacher can vouch for me, I will vouch for you. Of course I will. So, you don't have to be in my state, wherever you guys are on YouTube. We have to each one teach one. That's how we do. We each one teach one. So, you won't be there by yourself. If you get your books from, don't forget, if you get your books from elsevier.com and they say, well, what school do you go? It may say, what school do you go to? My school is a real school. It's Sapphire Academy, LLC. If it comes up, that's what you're going to put in there. Okay. When you are studying, you have, well, you don't, but okay. So all those things in the Sapphire Academy, some of them I'm going to try to pull them out so I can give them to you guys. But you remember I said, don't write in your book, use the test sheet. Use your test sheet. And I did upload a test sheet for you guys. I don't know when I did it. When did we do that class, y'all? We did a chat on the test sheets because I didn't want you guys writing in your book. So you guys can also find that chat. But I believe I can load it as a link. I'm gonna leave myself a note right here. Um, who asked me for Trina? You asked me for the answer sheet. Okay. So I'm just leaving a note for myself to make sure I upload the answer sheet. The answer sheet is pretty much blank. It's blank, and you guys are gonna put your answers in there. I have that one, and I also have the one with the old fashioned green one from third grade. I know I still use that. I still use that for y'all. Y'all know I use that, and that's because I don't want y'all writing in your books. And it's only because I don't want you to fill in any answers because you're going to continue to do that three times until you get an 80. Every time you knock at that test and you hit an 80, you are good. If you hit it the first time and you got a 67 or you got something like that, okay, then you need to hit it, continue to hit it until you get 83 consecutive times. 3 consecutive times you need to hit 80. If you can do that, you will pass your exam. You will pass your exam. Okay. The hardest part about being a coder is what? Passing your exam. Passing your exam. When you get out there and code for real, we don't have you do all that stuff. My girls have the AI, and you don't need to do that. If they get stuck, they type it in. Of course, we supply them with the books. But the hardest thing that you're going to do is what? Pass your exam. So, don't get scared. I don't want you guys getting scared of the exam. You guys know I come on. I want to make sure that you guys have all the momentum that you need. I don't want you guys. Oh, Miss Lambert, and I can see you guys. I can see you guys archiving. I know that you archive. A lot of you guys don't come online, but some of you are in and out. But I got your voicemails. I got your messages, and I know that you just need that little bit of push. You need that little bit of push. If you're not going to do coding and you're just going to do medical billing, just do medical billing. Absolutely, of course. Medical billing actually has, remember, it has that little CPT, has the HCPCS in there, has the ICD-10 in there, because the billers have to know something about the coding as well. They are not going to physical code, but years ago, you remember, we used to have the charge entry clerks, and we used to take the billers and make them charge entry clerks. Now, the charge entry clerks need to have CPC. So we don't do that We don't do that anymore. Those that were already in that position, we leave them. But we are prepping them to take the CPC. It's different hospitals, different folks, different strokes. Duke University, one of the generals over there, good friend of mine, he has all of his front desk. He prefer that they all be CPC. But this is the thing, they pay for it there. A lot of facilities don't. Trinity has the internet, and they have like the classes on there, and but they don't pay for it, but they do have the classes. Absolutely, absolutely. The CPC is the most challenging, so I would definitely do that one first, and then you can go ahead and go for the CPB. The CPB will be less challenging for sure, because what you learn in your medical billing, some of it is going to be, it's just going to come to you because most of it is about a lot of insurance and a lot of federal rules. The most challenging part on the CPB was the Medicare and the Medicaid. But make sure you hit your HCPCS. When you get your HCPCS, make sure you look at it, because there's a Medicaid part in there that will be on that exam. When you get your HCPCS, look at the modifiers in there. We did anesthesia first with modifiers, but we did touch bases on some of the modifiers in there because that class is down at the end when we get to the Hicks picks. But it's kind of a mix because anesthesia uses some modifiers from there, and we're gonna have to go through that book step by step, just like we do all the books. So remember, when you get your CPT, like I said, I want you to look through each page, every single page of the CPT. Change the page. What I want you to do, you guys know I always tell you this: look through your book, look at codes that look the same. If you have a code and the last digit is different, highlight the code because I don't want you to trip and pick that code when you're taking your exam. And don't go on that day. If you go on that day, you're going to be running in and out of the bathroom. When you get ready to take your exam, you will know quick differences between those codes that look alike. When your proctor looks at your book, she's just going to look at your book and see if you have any stickies in there. You guys know not to do that. You can put your labels in there to change the book. We went over that yesterday. But I want you to be able to go through your book so that you can pick the codes you need and keep it moving. But remember, we're going to do the open and close questions first. That's why don't get nervous. Don't get nervous when we're getting because we're in the advanced portion of the coding right now. And in the advanced portion of the coding is where we start using the CPC book, the CPT book. You guys know we always use the CPT book, ICD 10. So it is because I want you guys to start practicing some of the coding that's in there. We've been doing coding throughout, but this is where you're getting the gusto of what are they looking for on the CPC. AAPC wants to know have you mastered the books in front of you? If I tell you go find the subject I.C.3.4, you should know how to go to your guidelines and find that and multiple choice ABC. So that's the reason why I need to make sure that you go through your books step by step. Once you start going through that book, you're going to start remembering because you're not going to have that much time to kind of hit the tabular list and then go to the index and get it. You go because that's the way we're supposed to teach you. You go to the tabular list and then you go to your code. But when you taking your test, you're not going to have time to do that and do that. And every time you get ready to choose one, it can't take 2 minutes. It can't take 2 minutes. When your test used to be 150 questions, we had how long? We had 2.5 minutes. So you had a much longer time. And being that they shortened it down to 100, I'm pretty sure that you got 2 minutes. So you don't have time to hit the tabular list and then come back. You're just going to be fast. If you get used to your book, put your tabs in your book. I don't have any in front of me, but y'all know what I'm talking about. What's it called, a book? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The little tabs that you put in your book. So when you get to that section, when you get your book, and let's say you need something out of 20,000 series, musculoskeletal system, boom, you clicking right to musculoskeletal system because you got it. Not this, because you got a tab, and I'll have them in front of me tomorrow morning. I'm gonna have them on my desk. Okay. So make sure that you guys are getting used to the books. That's what the gist is. That's how they found out how you doing your mastery. The life insurance exam. So the girls that I'm training for the life insurance program. So I have some that opted into the coding, and then I have some that know they want to do the life insurance. They see the life insurance it's digital numbers, but it's just as aggressive as the coding. It's a state board exam. It's a state board exam they have to pass. And if anybody wants to do that, you guys let me know. It's just a second trade. It's your second trade. It's your own business. You're selling what you want to sell, and you're doing it at your own pace. So it's another side on your belt. You know, you can do the coding, you can do your own business, and you can do the insurance. They have legal and they have a couple other things. But my focus is to teach how to do the insurance, the federal, not the federal, the state insurance. And it's just as invasive as the coding. I mean, you still have to study. You have modules. And the Sapphire Academy is the same. You guys have modules. The modules here are considered the playlists. So if you have the playlist, It's considered modules. So if you finish medical billing, you move on to medical terminology. Make sure you get the test for medical terminology. You guys don't have access to tests for medical terminology because that book has exercises in there, but you can do them if you want to. This book is complicit with that. This is the Sapphire Physician Coding book. Remember that I wrote this book for you guys? I was already writing it, but I was not going to put tests in this book, but I did. And this book has medical terminology tests in it. Okay, look on Amazon and you guys can find this book. So I wrote this book so that you guys could do the medical terminology with your language of medicine book. Okay, with your language of medicine book. I'm gonna pull that book up in a few minutes because there's no way that you're going to pass that test without medical terminology. Okay, I forgot I'm on StreamYard. It won't let me pull up. Tomorrow I'll be on OBS. You have to know medical terminology. And I have over 50 tests in this book. Okay. Pituitary gland, sugar present in the urine, dermat, all these different things that you need to know. And I even have sections in here where you guys can write stuff. Skin is in here, integumentary, cardiology. Okay. Radiology is also in here. Respiratory is in here. Everything you need in medical terminology is in here. The tests are in this book. So this is the only way that I could give you tests. You're gonna have to get them from Amazon because my tests are copyright. I can't put my tests in here and then I'll have people copying my tests. So they are in this book that I've specifically made for you. You have to have medical terminology. All you have to do is archive the medical terminology classes. Okay. So, don't get scared, when you get in there and you say, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I don't need you to be in front of you. If I have a video that's in front of you, you can do it. Because if I was in my classroom, my students would be right there. I would just be standing here at the podium. I would be doing the exact same thing. The only difference is I would be making them do medical terminology on the board, or I would have them do some root words, and that would be I would have them stand up and come to the board. And they would be doing their summaries, and they have to get up in front of the class and tell me what they learned about cardiology. So yeah, it's a little bit different. So only difference is like in the classroom, it's more of a hands-on. So when I get that hard copy one, it'd be more hands-on. But you guys know I don't like doing it, all of that. And that's why we do the ebooks. So in class tomorrow, you guys will see where we pick it up at. But remember, we are in advanced mode in the coding. So this is the gusto. If you already have your membership for AAPC, you can also purchase tests. You can purchase tests there. They have little tests. They're like $15 and $20 or something like that. You might get one for $50. You might get one, you get three, it's like $150. Depends on what you want to get. I've seen some, years ago, they was like $10. They're a lot more now. But get to where you can pass a case. If you can pass this case, no issues, keep it moving. If you do one of the cases in the guide and you do get the answer from the back after you do it, and you get the answer in the back, read the rationale. The rationale it's a little sentence up there that's going to tell you why the answer is what it is. So don't get discouraged. Don't give up. You just need this to come back to you. You just need it to come back to you. It's such a shortage of coders. Trust me, people are looking for coders. If you decide that you want to work for the hospital, don't just work for one. Work for more than one, because you're going to be home when it's hospital. You can work for Trinity. You can work for North Shore, because you're doing the coding at home. They're going to give you the software. So you have this screen for this hospital, that screen for that hospital. Okay. And then who's making the money? You. That's one option. Your next option is you can also create your own business where you are recruiting your own providers and doing the coding for them. Yeah, I know. I always talk about my friend AGT, medical billing on Instagram. She goes to the hospital. She goes to clinics because she does the physician billing. She doesn't do coding. She does medical billing, and she will get. She showed us she would get those doctors. Do you have anybody do your billing? Do you have any collections outstanding that you need somebody to do? And I'm telling you, she get the contract. She get the contract. And that's all over the place. Wouldn't you rather have somebody work on your collections rather than have somebody write them all off? There's a big difference between write off and adjustments. hmm write it off. They're not getting no money. Adjustments is that's what you have to go by the insurance company. If you already paid and the patient's already paid and it's all the automatic adjustment, okay. Not when you're doing a write off. A write off is going. He's not getting that money. And I love her. She kills me. She puts her 3 inches on and she gets that money. And you can do the same thing. That's why I said, you can do billing or you can do coding or you can do both. Have it under your belt. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Thank you for coming. So have it under your belt. Okay, I think we got about 15 minutes left. Every time you think, you're welcome, have a good night, of coding, you're going to be eating and sleeping coding. I'm telling you, you're going to be eating and sleeping coding. My students, I mean, they can't sleep. They can't eat, especially the new ones that's doing the coding because it's something new. It's something new. It's something new to them. If you have people who have are used to doing the billing, medical billing is a little bit more calmer. You still need to know revenue codes when you're looking at the UB04 or UB92. You still need to see what those revenue codes are. There is a 360 test that I have in the Sapphire Academy. Don't you guys forget, go to that Sapphire Academy. But again, I figured out a way to upload a couple of links to you guys. Okay, but go to Sapphire Academy if you want to join Sapphire Academy, and that's your resource. That's your resource right there. Go to Amazon.com, order your book, order your medical billing book. All of your tests are in there in your Sapphire Physician Medical Terminology book. You need those tests. Okay. Your class tomorrow is going to be at 9 o'clock. I'm going to try my best to make sure I sign on at 9 o'clock. I want you guys to have your books. Okay, have your books. Okay, we're going to do step by step. Make sure you have it. Look at those links. Open the chat, y'all. So if you guys are still in, open the chat. Those of you who are going to archive this, make sure you open the chat panel so you can see the discussion. Okay, so I'm going to sign off now. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to make a comeback because I wanted to make sure I did this chat because I know some of you archive at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. But let's get to coding. Let's get to coding. Keep your faith. Keep your faith. Keep your passion for what you want to do. And let's do it. Okay? Study and keep your goals in order, and you will do it. That's what I say because I'm going to do it.